This program is brought to you by Tab. We're on. Download the app today. What are you really gambling with?
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to the return of Thoroughbreds Are Go, the only program assisting with the rehoming of thoroughbreds around Australia. I'm here at the Box Hill Riding for Disabled Centre, where next week we'll look at an Equine Pathways Australia clinic looking for a thoroughbred to help aspiring Paralympians. In the next 5 weeks, we'll show you some wonderful ex-racehorses in their new roles and hear about the best path to take if you're retiring a racehorse or rehoming a thoroughbred who didn't even race, plus tips for their new riders about the up-to-date best practice care for these incredible athletes. We start this week catching up with one of Australia's most popular racehorses, the Darley Godolphin 4-time Group 1 winner Hartnell, as he competes at his first Sydney Royal Easter Show. Plus two of the biggest racing owners in the land, Frank and Christine Cook, and their pledge to find homes for their many racehorses and why it's so important to them. And in a new segment, Arrowfield Stud's Beyond the Winning Post, Where Are They Now?, we find a former Triple Crown syndication star showing thoroughbreds can become the coolest horses in the stables with the right training off the track. That's all coming up on the return of Thoroughbreds Are Go. Godolphin Lifetime Care is one of the world's biggest organisations dedicated to the aftercare of the thoroughbreds who've raced in their distinctive royal blue colours. Whether they've been horses that didn't succeed on the track or Group 1 stars such as Hartnell, it's always important to look at their endeavours in trying to rehome every horse. I caught up with Hartnell's rider Shirley Patterson as she brought him to Sydney for his first Royal Easter Show.
Up to Dargeno. Hartnell, straight for straight. They hit it.
Hartnell will win the Epsom. Hartnell, number 1. 1:32.73. The first time they've ever broken 1:33 at the mile here, the famous mile at Royal Randwick.
Shirley, it's an exciting time, isn't it? The first Sydney Royal for Hartnell, such a popular racehorse. How's he found the whole experience?
He's been quite well behaved. Best thing about it, each time he comes back to his box, his head goes straight in his feeder. The morning when I come back over, there's no food, no hay, nothing left. It's quite big compared to where he has been to Adelaide and Melbourne Royal. He's done himself proud, he's done me proud. Today we had the Pope Cup. Atmosphere was fairly big, big class, and he just got a bit anxious with it and just couldn't handle it that much, but he didn't disgrace himself, and it's just a learning curve. So as I said, he comes back to his box and his head straight in the feeder, so couldn't ask for anything else. Coming from Victoria, it is quite a process, isn't it, to get a horse to any show around the country? It is, yeah. I mean, you've got to qualify for the Royals, which we've done. So you go around to your agricultural shows, hoping to get a win, to qualify for Sydney, same with Adelaide and Melbourne. Then it's the long drive up here. I just wanted to bring him up here for a lot of people that hadn't seen him since he'd been retired from racing. Also because he's mainly from up here with Godolphin as well, so I just thought it'd be a good idea to come up. He had a bit of a fluff up today, but that's just one of those things, you just got to work through it. He's no different to any other horse. they're all entitled to do it. So yeah.
Well, touching on his racing career, he's by an English Derby winner authorised, so he's a Darley Godolphin product through and through. And Godolphin maintain ownership of their ex-racehorses, but Reg Fleming, of course, is his custodian. And Shirley, you look after him day to day, so it works really well, doesn't it? That you can do what you like with him, but you know that Darley is supportive of whatever you do.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, with Reg being his custodian or guardian, which is wonderful, and me to be involved with him was through Reg, because I've known Reg for a long, long time. We've had a few other horses together. Reg sees him most times because we're still based in Flemington. We're based off course, and I'm pretty much with him 24/7. He's the first horse I see and hear every morning when I walk through the gate at 3 a.m, sometimes earlier. As soon as he hears the gate, he starts yelling out and screaming because he knows it's food time. You just feed him, and then he's as happy as Larry for the rest of the day.
And Hartnell is going to make every single yard, sticking his tongue out at his rivals to win the Bahrain Trophy.
Well, he was a group enlisted winner in the UK. His first run in Australia, he was second to stablemate contributor in the Group 1 Shipping Norton Stakes. I mean, he had an incredible ability to acclimatise in his racing career. And I guess, you know, the getting his head down in the feed bin and being able to just eat no matter what, that's a big part of having a healthy, happy horse, no matter what they do, isn't it?
It is. It's what you want to see. Been really lucky with him. That's all he does. He's really happy to eat. So, and I mean, to travel up from Melbourne, it's a long drive, but he got off the float straight in his box and straight into his feed. So you can't ask for any more than that. I mean, but he's travelled the world. He's state to state to race and everything like that. So, I mean, you know, I'm just lucky to have him or be a part of his life. And I know Reg appreciates it so much from Godolphin's point of view as well.
But Hartnell will take out the BMW.
He won the Sky High. It was only his third start in Australia. He won the Rosehill Autumn Weight for Age Championship, the BMW. And it's really interesting. These horses with this natural ability, can you see that transfer? You know, just having, whether it be brain, physique, interest in his food, does that sort of transfer now to what he does? That everything that made him a good racehorse, I guess that will help him in his future life.
Yeah, look, it does. I mean, everything he'd done when he was racing was 110%. It's the same now, trying to, you know, to get him to come back and relax and everything like that. But he's always on a mission no matter what you do. So he hasn't really changed that much. And I mean, it's the same at home. When he's finished working, he still goes and has his role after he's been unsaddled. So, like, a lot of things is still the same as what he was getting in his racing life.
It's just it's tremendously exciting, and look, you know, I'm sure His Highness Sheikh Mohammed will be very proud of one of the best horses he's ever raced in Australia to win a time-honoured Randwick Mile.
How's the wear and tear on a horse that's had, you know, a lot of starts, but I guess any 13-year-old horse is going to take some sort of managing?
Do you know, Caroline, his legs are clean. It's a testament to Godolphin and their staff, the way they do look after their horses. But for a horse that's been raced on both sides of the world, and he's raced into his later stages as well, his legs are just unbelievable. There wouldn't be that many that you'd find with as good as legs as what he has. And as in his body as well, you can still see his muscle and his definition. He's just got a bit fatter, which is good. But he carried over from his racing into his new career. So yeah.
Well, he had 13 wins but 14 placings, and they were in the elite races. I mean, they included his famous placings to the mighty mare Winks, including in 2 Queen Elizabeth Stakes in Sydney and a second to Winks in the Cox Plate. He was third in the 2016 Melbourne Cup, but his popularity seemed to really increase through those battles, even, you know, maybe more so the races that he didn't win. And there's obviously a lot of interest in Hartnell now as he's transitioned to a new life, isn't there?
There's so much interest in him, and there has been since I've had him. Like, you'll be out somewhere and they'll say, oh, you've got Hartnell, how's he going, blah, blah, blah. And really like see him on Facebook and different things like that with posts, not only on my page, but in like Racehorses Australia and posts like that, pages like that, I should say. And everyone still asks about him. And we were here the other day and I was working him, and there was a elder gentleman on the side of the arena, and he found out who he was, and I walked over and he gave him a pat, and he was nearly crying. He said, you know, he followed him when he was racing. It's just a big thrill to be able to have a look at him, to stand here and watch him while he's working. And I said, well, can pat him and you can have a photo with him if you want. And he's so overwhelmed with it, and it sort of put a lump in my throat. That's what he's still doing to people, and that's why I've always said all along, he gets under your skin. It's hard to say how, but he just gets under your skin and then he's in your blood. And he still does that. Like, there's so many people that still ask about him, what he's up to, how he's going, where's he going next. So, yeah, no, it's great.
And he won champion breed at Equitana in Melbourne, so he's done a really good job already. And of course, the first class on Good Friday, we filmed him out at the Sydney Royal as well. And the RAS has done such a great job with this Thoroughbred Day, haven't they, on Good Friday?
They have, yeah, they've put on a great day. It's great to see, like the Pope Cup was a massive class. So many beautiful thoroughbreds in there. New season, there's also season ones in there. So it was great, and it was a big atmosphere. And yeah, I mean, he's not the only one that fluffed up. That's part and parcel of it. It's no different to anyone else. You just take it as it comes and work through it.
That's it, and they learn, don't they, for the next time. But just explain to racing people who don't understand the show scene, what are the judges looking for? I mean, we know he was a champion racehorse. You don't win $7.4 million without being elite, but it's about how they cope, as we've talked about. But it is a big deal, I guess, to get them to transfer that into a totally different life. What are the judges looking for in a thoroughbred? Is it their physique? Is it obviously temperament's a big part?
Yeah, temperament, physique, going forward, under saddle, movement. Moving forward is like getting over the ground. Their looks, it's everything.
And what is it that you think makes thoroughbreds excel off the track? You've obviously, worked with a lot of thoroughbreds. What do you love the most about them?
They're all different. So one day you've got them, and the next day, they might be in a different sort of a mood. They don't all come off the track and, quiet and they're in the show ring in a week's time. Some take a lot more time than others, but it's just, I suppose sometimes it's just the challenge that really I like. And yeah, just sort of different horses, different times.
Anyone taking on a thoroughbred that might not know much about the breed, what's sort of some of the best advice that they should have if they're transitioning them to a new activity?
If they don't know a lot, I would be getting them to ask some people for advice that actually know what they're talking about. If they need help, ask for it. Don't go on and do it yourself, because you could cause not only injury to the horse but yourself as well. You need if you don't know much, you need someone to help you. Simple as that. So a lot of them won't make it to whatever discipline that that they're going for, but a lot of them will as well. So there's good and bad, but you need to know where they are. They might just have to retire in a paddock or something, but that's life. They're still getting looked after.
As I said, he is a very popular horse, Hartnell. How would you describe his personality?
He can be a naughty little boy sometimes, cheeky, loves cuddles though, so he's probably more sook than anything. But at the same time, he's loud and proud, He walks into somewhere, if you're taking him for a walk, he's like, if there's people around, he makes sure that they know he's there.
That's great. And so what's next on the agenda? What are you looking for sort of for the rest of this year with Hartnell? What would you like to achieve with him?
So the show season's finished now after Sydney Royal, so we'll go home, go back to Melbourne, and then he'll go for a spell for a month or so, 6 weeks or something, and then it's all back into it again to start qualifying for next year's Royal Shows.
It's just fun, isn't it? I mean, having these off-track thoroughbreds, there's so much fun to be had, isn't there?
There is. And there's so many things that they're able to compete in these days. Like you've got your led and your ridden, whether it be hunter or open hacks and things like that. There's always parades. We've done a couple of things with Hartnell that people get to meet. They understand, what happens after they've retired and get to see them. Like you got living legends back home as well. So a lot of retired thoroughbreds there, the older thoroughbreds. As I said, he gets under your skin and he knows that as well. So, but he loves his carrots, he loves a kiss and a cuddle, but then other times you can walk in the box and he's like, no, I don't want to see you at the moment. So you do what you got to do with him and then just leave him alone and he's happy.
Great to see such a popular horse as Hartnell still attracting attention off the track. Coming up after the break on Thoroughbreds Are Go. When you race a lot of horses, it's a big challenge to get them rehomed, and it's one taken up with alacrity by Frank and Christine Cook. We'll hear about their devotion to thoroughbred sport horse and other organisations who are encouraging riders to take thoroughbreds and compete with them away from the racetrack. Obviously, Frank and yourself, you're major owners within the racing industry in Australia and globally now too. But tell us about your love for horses off the track. I mean, watching you here as sponsors of Thoroughbred Sport Horse, their national championships, it gives you so much joy, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but you were the reason we did it when you did the story on Chrissy, because the both of us saw that story, looked at each other and said, we're in. Because we've always worried when we very first got involved, any of our horses off track, when they would go to a sale, we would worry about how much they were going for, and if they weren't going for a certain amount of money, we would say don't sell it. So we've always had that interest in them from very first time. We've always worried about what happens to them after. The fillies, we've usually breed from some of those, and the geldings usually do find a home somewhere, but not like you get the homes now. It's so different now. There's more acknowledgement of the welfare of what a horse has after its racing career, whether it be a jumper or, as we're here today, in this amazing Thoroughbred Sports Horse Association event. It's incredible, I love it.
And the take-up, as you say, it has changed here. Even in the last 5 years or so, the amount of work people such as Chrissy Harris, as you said, with TSHA and all her great team are doing, and we've seen Equimillion, we're seeing it, and all states around Australia are doing it in territories, but it really has been a growing thing, actually getting owners to think about what happens to the horse after it finishes racing.
Well, just think about when prize money now has a component of animal welfare. There was always the jockey welfare, but now there's the animal welfare component, which means every owner knows that part of their prize money, or that prize money, is going towards looking after the horses after it stops racing. It's brilliant, love it.
You've been in ownership, you both lease a lot of horses out so people can join you in ownership, and you've owned horses with, other sort of major owners around Australia. There are large numbers of them. How have you found your efforts in actually getting them into good new homes?
Well, we have a lovely friend who decided she didn't want to be an events manager anymore, always loved horses. She was living in Queensland, so she started a program called Life with Horses, and we gave her some of our injured geldings with Helen Page, and she started that up there. So we've always, I suppose, we have really always worried about what's going to happen to them after. They have been very good to us. The fillies, the mares, the geldings. We've won Group 1s, we owe them, I'm going to get upset now, we owe them a life after racing, because they have given us so much joy over the years, seriously.
And it's real emotion. I mean, this is the beauty of coming out to something like this today. You see the heart and soul that people have invested in these horses. And as I said, to cheer you up a bit and make you feel good, the joy that people such as yourselves, I know when I've had my ex-race horse that I bred when she was show jumping, you get so much joy from watching what they do now.
Well, what you don't realise, and this is what the people who are naysayers to the sport don't realise, these horses want to work. They're bred to work, they're bred to do certain things. Doesn't mean they just bred to run around a track. They are smart, they are athletic. If the right people get them, they can do anything they want, because that's what they want to do. They want to work. Yesterday, a 16-year-old gelding had started jumping. For 10 years he was sitting in a paddock. Amazing. They want to work for us. They want to help us. It's amazing.
It sure is. And some of your horses, you talked about Kat with Life with Horses, who we featured on Thoroughbreds Are Go. And she's just a dynamo, isn't she? But, you know, Excalibrator and Brinkmanship, and these horses, you know, they are your pets, really. And the joy you get as well, seeing them being rehabilitated into, because, you know, they had injuries. These were horses, as any athlete, as Kat explained, can happen. You know, but they're now giving so much joy to so many other people who have challenging lives themselves.
What you don't appreciate, I mean, I've always said, they're really just big puppy dogs. They would sit on your lap and lie on the end of your bed if they could. They just really are just big puppy dogs. And to see the sensitivity of what Kat's doing with them, with the problems that the people who come to her are, that is another level of horses that very few people ever get to see. And that is a very special thing. Very special.
And so what do you feel? Explain it. So the whole point is, you know, to try and encourage owners to you know, follow in Frank and yourselves' footsteps and really get engaged with this sport horse community. Can you explain what it's like when you watch one of your horses and someone's riding it and whether they're, you know, knocking fences down or not, they're happy, the horse is happy. Explain what you feel.
Well, exactly the same thing. It's like your own children. You want to see them be happy, be helpful, to have another life, to still be doing something they love doing, but there's not the pressure on them. And as well as that, none of us are there being disappointed that they didn't come first. That's the other side of the horses off the racetrack, is the fact that there isn't that expectation that they're going to be first all the time. So it's more about supporting. It's like being a grandmother, really. That's what you feel like. You feel like, I'm just watching my kids, I'm watching my grandkids go around. It's just, if you love the horse, and I love the horse as an animal. I'm not a bettor, I'm not a gambler. I just think they are the most incredible animals who just want to please us, who just want to be with us, who want to help us. I just think they're wonderful.
We have a responsibility to look after them. And these days, it's so easy to put them in the online auction and let them go. And in a lot of cases, you have to do that because horses that are competing at a level beyond their capabilities need to be moved up the line to areas where they can actually succeed. I believe that horses themselves have feelings for success, and some really good trainers will tell you if they get that winning feeling, they really thrive. And to keep horses thriving is so important. Well, some of them, you really can't just put them on online auction because they have issues that will impede their future racing. And therefore you have to look at somewhere else to look after them. That's hard, it takes a little bit of time and takes contacts in the industry. And for people who can't resource those contacts, then look at funding and donating to people who are trying to look after their horses after they have raced, because there's a huge thoroughbred stock. All the while we're inventing other ways of using the animal, and it's giving them a lot of satisfaction in doing it.
So what would you say to an owner, you know, anyone that's sort of, I don't know, you know, it might be a hassle or whatever, about actually making the effort to rehome that horse properly?
Oh no, there are so many places you can go now. There are so many entry levels. It doesn't have to be tens of thousands of dollars, it can be hundreds of dollars, like with Life with Horses, that kind of thing. You just sponsor a horse off the track. It's easily done. There are plenty of places, as well as Chrissy. There's lots and lots of sites where you can go all over Australia, not just in New South Wales and Queensland and Victoria and South Australia, but as you know, you've done South Australia. Just ask the question, get involved, especially if you love the horse and those horses have given you great pleasure. I think there comes a time where you have to give back to the horses.
Real dedication there, and thanks to Frank and Christine for their time. Coming up after the break on Thoroughbreds Are Go, a former Triple Crown and Snowdon racing star, the now 13-year-old original Australian Dothraki, loving life in Arrowfield Stud's new segment, Beyond the Winning Post. Where are they now?
Dothraki still in front. Dothraki.
It's Dothraki heading the lead, and Dothraki wears down. That's a good idea.
Dothraki's in front, he's too strong, he's outstayed the other horse.
Dothraki is still owned by his old strapper LA Arrow, and I've had the pleasure for the last 2 years of riding him, and yeah, he's still in Sydney. We've done a little bit of everything actually. We've tried out dressage, even a little bit of working equitation, and now most recently we're really into show jumping, which he loves. He's such a cool dude. He is super chilled. He just takes everything in his stride. He's really keen to work. He loves working, and yeah, just around the yards he's super chilled, and he just gets along with everyone, always wants to please. So you'll have buses coming past, they'll just swish past, and he'll just be so cool, don't care about anything. There's lots of trucks going past as well, and he'll just stand and wait till it's our turn to go. So yeah, he's super cool. Ex-racers have like the reputation of being, a bit fizzy, like a bit fiery, but yeah, he's really the opposite. He's just, he's got such a cool personality. He's, like an old man. So it's great to see that the old owners still really care about him. We went out to a show jump comp a few weeks ago, and we met Chris Ward, who was there, and was super happy to see him. And yeah, he had lots of other fans there as well, so that was really good. For the coming months, well, we've got a trail ride coming up tomorrow, so we're going out to a national park, so that'll be a first one. So interesting to see how he's going to react to that, but I'm sure we'll take it all in this ride. He's so cool. We're currently doing jump lessons once a week, so that's, we'll just see how far we can get in that, really. We've got a few comps and training days for show jumping coming up in the next few months, so it's really exciting.
Great to see Dothraki looking so happy and well looked after off the track. That's it for this week on Thoroughbreds Are Go. Join me again next week as we're here at Tall Timbers, Box Hills Riding for Disabled Centre, as Equine Pathways Australia trains aspiring Paralympians, and they're on the lookout for a new ex-racehorse to join their program. That and much more. I'm Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.
This program is brought to you by Tab. We're on. Download the app today. What are you really gambling with?